Hi, everyone. It's Miss Celeste here, and we are going to get into part four of week one. It's really been a fun week, and I hope these videos have been so helpful for you. To kind of touch on some of our course objectives in more, detail. And I really hope you're having fun because I sure am, and just getting to know you as well, like during our live sessions. So, just to reiterate, this is ECE101, and I am your instructor for this course. Before we get started, though, I'm going to just remind us a few things as we close out the week. Just making sure that we're doing our discussion responses to our peers and we're actively involved in that, and really kind of engaging with our peers consistently, so we kind of keep that dialogue going, because it is really important as an online course to have that discussion going, and it's really fun, and it's your opportunity also to learn from others. And then next would be our journal. I hope you're having fun with the blog. I really hope it's a great tool long term for you to use, because I still use it till this day, just to collect my thoughts, or um, just kind of as my journeys change through my education um, and profession. It's just fun to kind of have a thread of different experiences, or what I'm kind of going through at the moment. And it's fun to just reflect back, or remind myself of great important concepts or times, or just anything. You make it your own. And then lastly, it's just, making sure we've accomplished our assignment at this point, or finishing up our teaching hours as well, our reflection, which is also something that I'm asking for you to submit, just to kind of keep you on a great track, just weekly, of making sure that we're accomplishing those hours, because they are mandatory. So it's really important that we're doing that. And if you need any support with the teaching hours, please reach out, because I really want to support you any way I can. But unfortunately, if I don't know what your questions are or what you need help with, it's really hard for me to support from this end. So please reach out, email me. I could do a Zoom with you. We can talk via Teams if you prefer that. So there's many platforms to connect. So let's use them, okay? And then live session reflections. That's just extra credit, so it's not something that you have to do every week. But you're more than welcome to apply and submit that. Okay. All right. So, week one course objective four. Our goal is for you to really understand and demonstrate the understanding of who Maria Montessori is, her history, her mission, her purpose, and how she supports learning um, for children. And some of us have either taught in a Montessori, have not taught in a Montessori, heard of Montessori, have not heard of Montessori. And that is all okay, because that is what we're going to do here tonight, is really learn about Montessori and how she supports the whole child on her approach to learning. And but just a reflection: how does Montessori support the whole child? And maybe some of you know that answer. So again, I'd love to know more in our live session. So if any of you want to share, then please let me know, and I'll be so excited to hear about it. So who's Maria Montessori? Well, she was born in 1870. She was an Italian physician, educator, and innovator. She graduated from medical school in 1896. She was among Italy's first female physicians. So exciting moment for her and all uh, women. And then in 1907, she had her first school, and it was called the Casa de Bambini, and some of us know it as a children's house. And that was in Rome, and that is where she got an opportunity to experiment her theories and her approach to learning. And she really just did a lot of greatness in fine tuning the approach, and seeing what works and what didn't, and just sharing her journey, and as we now use today. And there's a lot of Montessori schools here in the United States. But the one thing I did learn through my journey of teaching at Montessori schools is not all Montessori schools are authentic Montessori schools. So I may have mentioned this before, but it's really important to kind of ask great questions if you're obtaining, I'm sorry, if you're trying to either work or maybe choose a school for your child or children, um, depending on the philosophy, it's really important to kind of really understand if they are following that philosophy. So I cannot encourage that enough because Montessori did not trademark her name. So any school could be called Montessori, but yet not necessarily follow the Montessori method or have the material or the classroom maybe a mixed kind of environment in terms of materials of all sorts. So it can all differ. So that was something that was very surprising to me when I first learned, because I just assumed that if they're named Montessori, that they're following the Montessori philosophy, but not true at all. So um, again, if you ever want to kind of dig my brain of great feedback on great questions to ask if you are looking for schools, please reach out. I'll be more than happy to support you there. So a little bit about the Montessori philosophy. Number one, so there are core principles that Montessori really believes in. And one would be respecting the child. So, really seeing the child, really having that boundary of their space, really engaging with them when they're, ready and it's appropriate in terms of like, say they're working on something, we're not going to interrupt them and have them say, answer our question or, because it's very disruptive and kind of loses that concentration and so she was a big believer of respecting the whole child. Two would be sensitive periods, and sensitive periods specifically means focusing on how the sequence of order and movement objects, um, how they use their kind, their words. And two, and I also have a list here where it says sensitive periods of all the different ages that it really pertains to and when it happens. Um, so it's really important to kind of know when those sensitive periods are happening. So as a teacher, you're supporting the children in the classroom in general. Doesn't need to be a Montessori classroom, but these are actively happening and roughly the ages of when it's happening. So again, we all know that learning starts at birth, right? So we are really diving in very quickly and supporting children from the very beginning. So that's really important. Three would be having a prepared environment. Montessori really believes of setting up the classroom that supports all the children's needs individually. So that means from the material to, even the way, say, the tables are set up. There's more floor space in Montessori classrooms versus table space. Um, you also have enough, say, supplies for children. So everything is there so they can be able to independently explore and use the material at their own pace. And then four would be the independence and discovery factor. So we really encourage children to explore and choose what they want to work on. And yes, a teacher is there to guide and kind of intervene when needed, but it's really important to kind of be sensitive to those moments because it's really important to establish that sense of confidence to choose, that confidence to kind of lead their learning and have fun with it too because we really want them to love learning. We really want them to have fun because learning is fun. But it has to be approached in a way that each child understands how they learn best. So I can't say that enough in a classroom of say toddlers or any age, for that matter. It's just really important to let them find their moments of learning and have so much fun with it and experience those aha moments where their brain is just kind of clicking and it makes sense. And I've seen those up close and they're so powerful and so amazing. And we do it as adults, right? Whenever we're learning something new and then something clicks and you get that, like, oh, that moment, that's what children are getting. So, how amazing is it for them to develop that independently? and how powerful that is for them. So, um, typically, I just, I have an example picture here of what a classroom looks like. So as you see, there's a lot more floor space, as I mentioned, because a lot of the material can be done on the floor with a rug, because that's identifying their space. It's kind of helping keeping everything together. And there is, of course, work and tables for them to sit at. But when you go in a classroom, it also is really focused on the different areas of practical life, which is when children are really focusing on their fine motor development. So we're doing like pouring and sorting and scooping, really exercising those small muscles in their fingers, their pincer grasp, which then leads to, say, holding a crayon or holding a pencil, or there's always a purpose for all of the sequence of how material is there and presented to children. Um, the biggest takeaway is just having that freedom to choose, but there are limits, so it's not just you get to do what you want. And sometimes others who don't understand Montessori to the fullest may think that they just kind of pick whatever they want. And yes, they are able to choose, but there is that teacher there to kind of guide as well. But in a way that's not overpowering the child's choice, too. So, again, uh, please observe a classroom and you will see exactly what I'm talking about, because it's so magical to watch. Another area, which I probably mentioned, is that confidence, responsibility, and independence. Because they're able to choose and make choices and be responsible for those choices, they take them very seriously, and they have, and then they learn how to choose and pick and start and finish, things. So there's so much learning happening in that, 2 hour period. And typically, it is a 2 hour uninterrupted time where children are able to work, because we really want them to focus on what they're learning. So, in order to do that, we have to have that much time. Other areas are like science, geography, botany, um, foreign languages. They all differ in how we approach that, uh, because again, depending on the age and all of that, it just could be maybe done during circle time, or maybe there's an area in the classroom of a specific language that we're focusing on. So it all differs. Teaching the whole child through Maria Montessori. So Dr. Montessori created her approach through years of teaching and research, and it is further demonstrated now to be successful in a lot of schools around the world. Montessori's philosophy holds that children are naturally curious and eager to learn, and can engage in self directing learning given a supportive, yet very, very prepared environment. Respect for the child as a whole individual and support for their physical, social, emotional, and cognitive development is super important, and especially from the very beginning. So again, Montessori really believed in supporting the whole child, and in order to do that, that environment has to be very prepared to do that. And again, when you go into a classroom of authentic Montessori school, you will see how and what that means. I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. And I've had so much fun talking about Montessori. And this is a picture of who she is. And I hope you find there's so many great books out there to learn more about her. So I definitely will share that too in our live meetings if some of you are interested in that. Our next stop would be week 2 and part 5. So I look forward to seeing you then. And if you have any questions or you want to meet, please reach out, because I'm looking forward to our next journey here. Another reminder, real quick, is just reflections are due Sunday for extra credit. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.